If you struggle with middle game planning, especially your overall chess understanding, this video is 100% for you. I'll be breaking down the most complex topics, which even gave me my FM title, guys. Alright? I'll be going over when to strike in the center, how to actually punish dubious openings, wing attacks. Everything that you need to know is here. So stay tuned and we're getting right into it. Alright, what you're about to witness is a game that teaches all concepts, guys. Now, here, my opponent is playing a super dubious opening. And I know, especially at the lower levels, you're like, how do we actually play against this when white or black is not following the script? You would just watch a YouTube video about principles and then you play your chess game online and you're like, why isn't white doing what I saw just now? This is how to punish it, guys. If your opponents are playing passive, don't follow. Don't get confused. Stick to the principles, guys. Now, all I'm doing is getting, again, the center. My minor pieces are getting out, and I'm going to get my king to safety, guys. Now, this is where most persons get shocked, confused, panic, and they forget everything. The minute your opponents start pushing a lot of pawns. Now, the minute you see pawn play, don't look at pawns. What attacks are pieces? You want to see what the pawn move is helping to activate. Which piece? Currently, I don't see anything. I simply castled my king. And now he played pawn to h5. Now I played pawn to h6. The reason being, again, I am looking at what he's trying to activate. By me playing pawn to h6, his rook doesn't get a chance to actually get a whole open line to play with. Alright? Don't look at pawns, look at pieces. I'm looking at his bishop, his queen. If they don't get aggressive into my area of the board, it is not dangerous. Now, this game did not end well. My opponent then played pawn to c3. And now we played knight to c6. I am again just finishing my development. You can't play chess without pieces. If your opponents are doing crazy stuff like this, like there is nothing to worry about, guys. Not because you can't crash through immediately in your games doesn't mean that what he's playing is good. Now, this guy didn't last long, but anyways, this guy played queen to c2, and I finished my development. Now, here, what do we do in the middle game? So, the middle game is considered complete the minute you, again, have the center, minor pieces out, and a safe king. You're like, alright, it's officially the middle game. And in the middle game, I love to use this little box here, where I try to put as many pieces as possible in that area of the board. You want to be aggressive. And this is why I hate white's setup. He's not even giving himself a chance to play, again, good chess. So we are not going to show this man any mercy. Bishop to e6, and believe it or not, guys, he played f3. And what he's planning to do is to attack on the king side. Now, whenever you're hearing about the pawn storms and the quick attacks, close your ears, guys. Turn away and actually learn good chess. Now, pawn storms are good when your pieces are out. If it's done too early, we call these premature attacks. Punishments will be given. Now, I said this again, you need to start getting your pieces in your opponent's half of the board, but this is going to be a more in-depth example. We need, again, getting pieces in that half and pawn breaks. Now, if it's not so obvious how to get our pieces forward, that's when the pawn breaks come in handy. You need to combine the two, guys. No way to improve, pawn breaks will help, alright? Now, I am trying, again, to counter in the center. Whenever your opponent is trying to attack you on the side of the board, you need to look for a counter strike in the center first, because 9 times out of 10, it is the most powerful. If you have a center strike, that is what you're supposed to always consider first. Now, he played pawn to g4. I want you to actually take notes again. I am not even looking over that side. Over the king side right now is not dangerous. The first thing I ask myself is, what piece is he trying to activate? If it's just pawn moves, then it's doing nothing. All I am seeing as a feeder master is that he's killing this poor bishop. He's putting so many pawns on light squares, he could basically give this bishop a vacation and take it off the board. Now, we are going to again continue with center play. Somebody attacks on the side. We are now opening up the center of the board. And again, pawn exchanges help to do this. Now, another thing that you need to know with pawn exchanges is that, again, it's creating files, and you know what likes files, guys? The rooks. Now, here, my opponent is a little stubborn. He's not giving me the d4 square, but I know that I need to counter strike in the center. What move can I play to actually get the d4 square for my knight? I know that I can't put the knight there immediately, but I know that I can use pawn breaks to help me activate some of my pieces. So b5 here, threatening the move pawn to b4, is going to actually clear the way for my piece to get into that area of the board. The minute your pieces start crossing here, that's when aggressive play comes in 100%. Again, I don't look at this as white is attacking me. I am like, he has a lot of sleeping pieces and he's going to pay the price. No, he played knight to h3 and he is simply trying to get his knight involved because his pieces are again not optimally placed. He can't bring it to natural square. So he's now putting his knight on the edge of the board and we proceed as planned. b4. And this is done again to get the d4 square for our knight. White will not give this to us too easy. So he played bishop to b2. And still, we are counter striking in the center. I want you again to realize I am not panicking. I'm not pulling back any piece. I am just focusing on the center. This is what an attack looks like. An attack happens with pieces, guys. I'm not using pawns, pieces. If you're using your pawn storms, it's normally to sacrifice pawns for ways to activate your pieces. They're paving ways for pieces. Now, he played queen to d1. I've said this in multiple videos. Bishops help to control weak squares. If he gives me his dark square bishop, he's basically surrendering all the dark squares in his camp. Bishops are easy, or it's like easier for bishops to move from one era to the next, and because he has so many dark squares, that bishop could help with a lot of defensive ideas. So queen to d1, and here, middle game. Do you see how many times I'm repeating this? Improve pieces. If you can't do it, look for pawn breaks. My rook on a8, I'm like, alright, 5 points of material. Now in the game. This is again how you play chess, guys. I'm looking at this half. Put pieces in this half. I don't know how many more of these videos I'm gonna like try to click, but this has to click now, guys. It is now or never. Knight to f1. He is trying to get pieces towards my side. I am looking at areas in my opponent's half to put my pieces. Bishop to b4. I know that bishops help to control weak squares. So by him giving me his dark square bishop, all of this is now coming to light. This is what weaknesses look like in 3D, guys. And this is how you're going to punish it. I now have 2 pieces in my opponent's side of the board. I am looking to get 3, 4. I'm looking for pawn breaks to actually get more pieces involved. The more the better. He went now knight to e3. Now I play pawn to c5. This is setting up a pawn break, helping my queen to activate in the future. Maybe after my queen activates, my rook can join. Just play with all the pieces, guys. Now he went king to f2. Now for tactics to work in your favor, you want to be putting your heavy pieces on the same file or diagonal as like the king. So if you have like a bishop on the same diagonal as the king, tactics could work in your favor. If you have like a rook on the same file as the enemy king, tactics could work in your favor, guys. Alright, now what is about to happen again? I'm threatening rook takes e2 just to show you. Most of you guys might not be at the level as yet to spot tactics like this, but I'm just showing you, like, just so that you can. All right, so basically you guys can actually just get this out of the way from now. You want to understand what is happening. How can this be dangerous for white? Now, because I have so much pressure, I played pawn to c4. In the game, my opponent didn't capture on c4, but let's say that he did capture. Now, for more advanced viewers, you will understand, but understand that again, here, because my rook is putting pressure on this file, or rank, sorry, then knight takes e4 is a shot. I'm putting pressure, and because I have, again, active pieces playing, every single thing is going to collapse. Everything is going to collapse, guys. Nothing will survive. Now, I don't expect every single person to be able to find sacrifices like this, but oops, at the same time, if you can't see those moves, you don't have to rush the ideas. You could play calm moves. You could play moves like queen to a5. You just have to look in this area of the board and put pieces there. Let me just draw the box again for the last time. You need to put pieces there. Maybe you get like your queen to a3. Alright? Maybe you need to get like your knight to f4 by some miracle in the future. You just have to maneuver your pieces in a way in which it is not passive. If you want to prepare the pawn push, maybe get your knight to d6. Just have the right ideas in mind. Now, c4, and my opponent in the game played king to g3. So I took opportunity to get the passed pawn. I am creating as much play for my pieces as possible. Now my pawn has passed. I'm like, all right, literally it's called a pass pawn. The pawn passed. All right, so yeah, we have the rook, the pawn, the knight. 3 pieces successfully in the half. He's getting squeezed. Queen wants to join, everything wants to join. He now played bishop back to f1. Now, because my pieces are so active, they can team up. I'm now threatening rook to d2 to actually move the defense of that bishop. Just to show you what it looks like. Yeah, I'm removing the defender of that e2 bishop. So he basically moved this bishop out of the way, and knight to h7. I am looking again to get my pieces forward. I'm trying to access the dark squares. His bishop was defending the dark squares before, but by some miracle, this knight is doing a good job controlling some dark squares. We could trade that off the board and start to get my queen in that half. The more pieces I have infiltrating, the more I know that my opponent will not be able to survive. He played queen to c1 in the game, and I changed paths and placed my queen on a5. It's just to protect the pawn on c3. It is a very valuable pawn, so I didn't want to give it away. So I simply played queen to a5. So remember, everything completely fine. Knight to c4. No, that is his only active piece, guys. I want you to take a look at the position. Every piece is dead, cooked. So it is a no-brainer in scenarios like this. When you have his only active piece on the board and you take it off. Remember, chess is active versus passive pieces. Imagine fighting a war and then all the soldiers are sleeping. This is what it looks like. You want to, again, activate your pieces. Now, rook to b8. I am swinging more pieces. The more I have involved, everything is just going to play itself. Now, bishop back to d3. This is what happens when you put pawns on the same color square as your bishop. It turns into a pawn of its own. It's like, again, a portable pawn. Don't do this. Rook to d2. Bishop went back. And look, this rook, if I didn't look at all my pieces, I could not do the teamwork, guys. Everything, guys. Everything has to play. Every single piece has to play. Oh my god. Now he went king to h4. Now you guys could also learn about what a zugzwang position is, when it's like your opponent is basically like out of moves. The queen is paralyzed, the rook is paralyzed, this is done, that's done. This is normally where your opponents start to panic. Now, to actually capitalize on your opponent's moves, you need to use what we call the drawback principle. Always check what a piece was defending before, and you capitalize on these errors. Now, in the game, I didn't take his rook on e1 simply because I understand that my knight is better than that rook. I simply brought it back to d4, and rook to e3 was played to hit the pawn on c3. I defended, queen to e1. Now, just to ensure that I'm not going too fast with this, you guys again could be wondering, why isn't Raheem taking this rook on e1? Now, active versus passive pieces. This rook right now is in prison. It has no future. While they call this like an octopus knight. I can, if I truly want to do this, guys, I can fork here. I can do a lot of stuff. But my knight has a lot more potential in this game than these two rooks. Like, it's worth 5 points of material, yes, but it can't do anything. It's not active. What is the purpose of pieces if you can't use them? So he went rook to e3, and now I went rook to c2, queen to e1, and then the last piece. I'm like, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody is missing. Somebody is indeed missing in this fight. And then you bring the knight, guys. All right. Once everything starts to play, you are super fine. He's trying to sacrifice pawns to get like his pieces out. It's going to be a lost cause. And now he's trying to get again like his rook. No, normally persons resign at this point of the game, but I mean, everybody has a right to play on. Q to c8. Now, I am supposed to explain this a little bit more in depth for you guys right now. Now, you could have a piece that looks active, but it's not attacking anything. So it's like you don't really know how to convert. I again look for weak points in my opponent's camp. Target areas. So here is a potential target area. Especially the fact that it's only guarded by the king. So by me bringing my queen back, even though it's on the back rank, it is still active. Once it's doing aggressive duties, it is active, guys. You want it to be putting pressure on the position. He went now q to d1, and this is going to be the final move of the game, where I want you guys to lock in and try to find the best move for black here. The queen is currently protecting the g4 pawn, and I played a move rook to d2, which removes the guard of that g4 pawn. The queen can't stay on the diagonal, and he resigned in this position. Just to make sure that you guys understand what's happening, if the queen moves off the diagonal, then q takes g4 is actually checkmate, guys. Just making this 100% clear. So yes, my opponent resigned. Subscribe for more videos like this, and like. The more this video goes out, the more I can make videos like this. So thanks again for watching, and take care.